Every time you say something, Rob, I have like 37 more questions for each
There's
thing. I
a
mean, one of the
lot.
things I was thinking about, a couple things. First of all, is just like there's some way that like there was a death in hip hop the day the last 12-inch came out. Like that's something that you just do not see. I mean, we still have hip hop albums, but
Mhm.
I don't know what year the last hip hop 12-inch came out, but we haven't seen one in forever,
No, no.
which I think is a big piece of it. And then I was thinking about just in terms of the individual, like the way you're describing DJs learning their craft. And I think about how distinct the DJs that I grew up with, like you knew when you heard Jazzy Jeff that it was Jazzy Jeff. You knew when you heard Cash Money, it was Cash Money. You knew when you heard Rob Swift, it was Rob Swift. You knew when you heard Rock Rada, it was Rock Rada. There was like an individualistic aspect to the DJing where you all had your sound that was above and beyond just playing the records you chose. There was something very distinctive around it, which I think is really cool. And then it's interesting to think about how, the mixtape boom of the late 90s was less about the individual DJ and what they were doing and more about grabbing tracks that would
Right.
that would
Having,
pop.
yeah, the mixtape culture that took hold in the mid to late 1990s, even through the 2000s, was really more about having access to an exclusive song,
Right. Right.
right? That no other DJ was playing. It became less about what that DJ was doing with the song, how they were
Mm,
playing it,
right.
that was unique, that made them who they were. And it became more about what made them who they were was the fact that they just had access to this exclusive song.
Right. The
Mixtape culture
commodification
changed
becomes
a lot.
it
Right,
becomes about access to who you have
right,
access to rather than that individual creating their own scratch or their own
yeah,
sound or their
right.
own.
And unfortunately, hip hop is not immune to the effects of capitalism, right? That's the country that we live in. It's a capitalistic country, and it's about making a quick buck. And with the propaganda that you see and hear on social media now, how to monetize this, how to monetize that, we're becoming obsessed with outcome, right? Social currency, going viral, making money, and not process. And hip hop, in its most authentic form, is about process, not
Mhm.
outcome. It's about writing the rhyme and learning it. That's what hip hop is. It's about putting your hand on a record and understanding how to move that record to coax sound out that otherwise would not appear if you just let a needle skate on the
Right.
record as it's turning, right? It's about having the balls, right, to go inside a hardware store, steal paint because you're poor and you can't afford to buy it, and then risk getting arrested at a yard somewhere by a cop because you're illegally defacing public property, i.e., a train. It's about walking over to a Wiz, PC Richards, going to the back of that store, taking refrigerator cardboard, walking it over to a park, taping it to cement, and dancing on that cardboard because your clothes are too dirty and they wouldn't let you into a club to
Mhm.
dance. That's what hip hop is. It's process, it's action. And I feel like today's generation is bypassing the process, it's bypassing the action and getting to the answer.
You talk about it in the book, you talk about the how, like that hip hop's about the how, not so much the
Exactly.
what, where, why, when. It's the how. I love the way you're describing it because it is about sort of the creation from the person. It's like, how do we get this stuff out from inside as opposed to taking it from
Right.
outside?